Peoples of the universe, please attend carefully. The message that follows is vital to the future of you all.
That's something quite wonderful about Anthony Ainley, isn't there? I was just watching them going, oh, they're great. I love a bit of Anthony. His master is so bonkers. It's so bonkers. He's so smooth. I don't even know if I like it or not, but I guess I do. But it's so I don't know. It's like Paul Darrow's Avon. It's very definitive of the actor. Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning. How are you? How are you all? Depending where you are in the world. Well, I mean, good morning, afternoon. Not how are you, just how are you, regardless of where you are in the world. Yes, we had some exciting news. Exciting news. We're going to be talking about in depth tonight. I would be a lot more excited had I just not listened to Big Finch's latest release, which was the worst, and I'm not even exaggerating, the absolute worst release they've ever put out. I mean, it is Jodie Whittaker, Doctor Who bad. It is absolutely freaking atrocious. I can't believe it. I'm going to go over this as well to you. This is an avoid. If you normally get them, this is a strong avoid. Do not go in this one. It's the Flying Dutchman and Displaced. The Flying Dutchman is the one that's truly awful. Displaced is only a bit naff, but the Flying Dutchman is truly awful. It's absolutely the worst Doctor Who. I mean, it's in the league with the Jodie level. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. There will be some programming disruption going on over the next week. It's the Jewish New Year. Jewish New Year cometh very fast. It's a bit. Listen, if you're religious and you believe in God, now it's funny you have to say both those things, because I know a bunch of people who are religious who don't believe in God. It's so freaking weird. It's like they do all the crap, and look, being Jewish, there's a lot of crap to do, right? There's a lot of crap to do, and they do it all, but they don't really believe in God, and it's the strangest thing. I guess you'll get it everywhere, listen. Look, everybody believes science, right? But they still smoke, right? It's like, yeah, it's gonna kill me, right? But there's still, that cognitive disability. Yeah, that's really weird. It's really weird. So if you, if you believe in God, it's heavy. It's a bit heavy because it's coming up because the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, goes over 2 days. It is it's kind of like a rebooting of reality, and anything is possible. And I guess kind of retroactively as well. So because like time is whatever eighth dimensional, how we want to describe it, but time emanates in all directions. So basically, the Jewish conception of the Jewish New Year is called Rosh Hashanah. There's actually 3 Jewish New Years. This is the only one for people. So this is the Jewish New Year, where reality is rebooted and it can be reformed in any way possible, and it's basically dependent on one's prayer, one's connection to God over these few days. I think it kind of like it that sets your direction for the year. I'll give you a little like idea of how the Jewish year works, which is a bit kind of wild. You got like this. So Rosh Hashanah happens now, Jewish New Year happens now, and then 6 months later it's Passover, which is like these are the heavy hitters in the Jewish world, right? These are the big ones. But basically there's a thing in the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud, where it asks when the universe was created, and there's 2 answers. There's in Nisan, which is when Passover happens, and Tishrei, which is when the Jewish New Year happens, right? So they try and explain the disparity by saying that the year was created in thought in the first part of the year, in this time of year, and it doesn't actually come through to reality till Passover, which everything kind of like matches the agricultural cycle. Everything's very, very laid into that. So basically you've got this like 6 month period where you're creating your year. Like this from this period is called the High Holies, the Yom Noraim, the High Holy Days. From now goes through to Yom Kippur, which is 10 days away. It's called the 10 days of repentance, 10 days of tshuva, because you're really supposed to be trying to make yourself into a different person. This is what you're supposed to be thinking about for this whole month beforehand. So you're trying to remake yourself because you're trying to remake reality. I'm trying to be very clear about where I want my reality to go. Never goes there. It never goes there. I mean, listen, wherever the good Lord takes me is where the good Lord takes me. but never goes there, right? But you try, and so you have this time, and it's actually considered like marital relations, the act of marital relations, and the moment when you orgasm, as it were, is about 2 weeks later, which I tell you. When you last, but it's the additional prayer in this holiday called Simchat Torah, which is just like this. Basically, you've had all these days of festivals. You got Jewish New Year, then you got Yom Kippur, then you got 4 days later you got this holiday called Sukkot, where basically you're supposed to camp outside for a week. The basic idea, you're trying to get it back to nature. I don't do that. I don't do that. I did it for many years. I actually ambient myself to make myself sleep outside. It was awful, right? I don't do it. Although I kind of enjoyed it sort of one time, not really. Okay, so I don't do that. But it's a very agricultural. So, but anyway, so after that holiday ends, you got one more day, which is just like God say, listen, we've hung out for the last month or so. Why don't we just spend an extra day? Because God becomes more opaque. Yeah, the world becomes more real. After that, so the moment of orgasm is the additional prayer on that day, and for that moment on, from then for the next 6 months, you're creating your own. So that first 2 months is comparable to a pregnancy. There's a lot of stuff going on, but you don't really see it. That's time from October to December is when you're really pushing, but you're not seeing that much results for your actions. It's like the first stage of a rocket taking off. You see it going, but it looks like it's going slow. There's a lot of energy going out in those 30 minutes. So that's what it is. So then you get your first idea of what the world, with the year that you created yourself, right? Which is basically what you're doing. Because is at December, the end of December. We at Hanukkah for us, but Christmas or whatever that solstice, that time, right? That's when you get the first ambers of what your year's supposed to be like. And that was a bit weird, let me tell you. I got actually I did get kind of a clear message pretty much around that time, and that I got, now looking back, you see, you can't do it looking forward, otherwise you'll be a prophet. But looking back and say, retroactively, that was clearly a minor version of this, what 2020 was been. So this has been a weird old year. So then, your next plateau is about 2 months later. It's holiday of Purim, where you get drunk out your mind, and then 2 months later is when the year is born, and then Passover is what your year becomes. And whoa, well, that was a weird one. Let me tell you, that was a weird one. All I can say is, I don't think it's my fault. I don't think it's solely my fault. Although my old rabbi, my old Rosh Yeshiva, he was because he was right as well. It says, listen, if you want to be one with God, right? If you want to be connected to God, connected to the interviewer, when shit happens, when shit goes down and bad shit goes down, you have to go, the first thing, what can I do? What can I do? But more importantly, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Take accountability for freaking everything, right? And then it changes your worldview. And it's crazy. Freaking crazy. I'll tell you another. Again, this is if you're religious. If you're Christians, you're going to freaking love this, okay? If you're not, you're just going to look and go, oh, you know what you're going to look at? If you ever seen the original pilot for Firefly, right? Original pilot for Firefly. Not the train job, which was the second pilot, which is actually freaking awesome, right? The original pilot, the 2-part one with where everybody gets on the ship, basically. So you got the guy, he's got this weird box, a very good looking guy who's very clearly gay, right? That very, very good looking, the doctor, whatever. So he's got the box, and then at the end of the cliffhanger of the first episode, they open the box. Inside there is his naked sister, Summer Clow, suspended in suspended animation. And then so Mal Reynolds, the captain of Firefly, his reaction is what I imagine your reaction would be there. Just now go, I just love that reaction. That really works. Anyway, I can't remember what you had that reaction to. Anyway, that's the basic idea of what's going on. Sorry, the upshot is there's going to be no content on Saturday or Sunday. I apologize. I'm off. You won't be seeing me. Fine, let me say hello. First, let me answer Chris Persia's question. Chris Persia asked a question. Because he is cooking lunch. I hope you're having a good lunch there, Chris. I do hope so. Oh, there you go. My guest has just arrived. So I can only hope Rabbi at Sulebeck, that would be me. Will answer. What do you think it means that David Tennant's doctor mentions Donna's name before Rose? Now, this is the trailer. We're going to be talking about this trailer. Dan has not seen it. Dan Hadley, the Type 40 in the space book, whatever nom de plume he uses, it's one you should follow. His link is in the his channel is in the video notes just down there. If you're not subbed to him, go click him, give him a sub. Make sure open it up in a separate window, okay, so you don't lose me. That's good. Okay, there you go. See, you got to tell your audience what to do. Don't expect. And I listen. I've dealt with people in groups of people before. Like I've been like a sort of tour guide thing. Yeah, you can't let people, even when you're washing them, they will wander away. So just open another window. Anyway, So he asked a question, which I've lost now. Where is it? What do you think it means then? David Doctor mentions Donna's name before Rose. I think it's setting his timeline, so you know where he is. He's at his end of days. He's in this time of victorious timeline, which they're really playing with a lot now, which is interesting. I don't want to spoil it too much for Dan, but I think Donna was his most recent companion, and so that's why I think he said it first. And then he thought because I think he had genuine love for Donna and pain, and that pain made him think of Rose and Martha, and I think that's what happened. Let me bring Dan on. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hello, I was just eating a carrot.
Okay, whoa.
Good evening, Rabbi. Good evening, everybody. How are we all?
Carrots. Let me tell you.
Very good for the eyesight, so I've been told.
I do like that. Actually, I am on a complete vegan diet right now. I'm on a crazy diet. Insane. I'm just
choice or doctor's orders.
No. I don't go to doctors. I treat doctors very much like Baron Munchausen. Yeah, we saw it on video ball. I really do, because I think I really believe in quantum realities, right? I really believe in it. And if you don't know about science, you can fix it. Because this is my fundamental worldview. I think this world is an artificial representation of a genuine world, which will be a spiritual world, right? It's kind of like the Matrix. It's kind of very similar to how Grant Morrison, the Invisibles. It's more like that, right? So I am of the belief that if there's a problem in this world, you can fix it by addressing it in whatever that dimension that I think we are reflecting. So, and I've done it before, and it's freaky because it actually works. Like it's bizarre.
So let us know in the chat if you try that now. Let's know.
I'll tell you more about that later. So fine, let me just say hello to everybody. Stuart Bowles, how are you? Good afternoon. Kalinch, good morning to you. Chris Perza, you're in Canada, I believe. Yes, also good morning. Derek Mamadas, you're in England, so you are having your early tea, I think. Darjeeling, I hope. Disaster area. I do not know where you are, but again, if my son was a superhero and he had a superhero name, that name would be Disaster Area. I can only guarantee that. Okay, so there we go. It just jumped to me like massively. Darren M, how you doing? Problem being. There you go, my old man. What do you know? Don't we talk about Brave New World at one point, probably. Sadako 24, how are you? And I think we're going to be talking about it positively. By the way, I got to send you a link. I uploaded it to my server. This new show, Raised by Wolves. Freaking awesome, okay? Freaking awesome. The
trailers looks incredible, and it's got Ridley Scott's name on it, so I'd usually be there.
Episodes. He actually personally directs the first 2 episodes. I wasn't sure about it until I got to like the 5th episode, and it's some of the best TV I've seen this year. And that's what 2020 is being. 2020, there's been some unexpectedly really good TV, like really good. Like we've all been looking out for the shit, right? And it's all been coming like, oh, Lord Nick. Oh, it's got Discovery. Yeah. Thank God there's no Doctor Who, you know. Like
it's been these oddities that we didn't think we were. Got no way of knowing how good they were going to be or not.
Right, and I'm just amazed we get anything good. Really. Well, they're saying Raised by Wolves. It's like a novel written by Philip K. Dick mixed with Frank Herbert, right? It's got both of those vibes to it, and it really works.
Is it an original thing, or is it based on a book?
I think so, and it really works for that as well. It's like it's got layers upon layers upon layers of story, right? Which I gave like a rough overview of it on did a video today, but I didn't want to spoil it, so I didn't do it justice. Because there's so many interesting layers, and I was like, and the first layer you get to, which is these two robots called Mother and Father, right? The thing opens. I'm not going to. This is not a spoiler, right? This is the first 5 minutes, right? There's this like tiny little spaceship lands on this barren planet, goes across the barren wasteland, and it comes to like there's these sinkholes that go, I think, to the core of the planet. And there's a whole mythology going on, which you're just getting into, like, sort of now. Right, till it stops. And, like, the computer, these people wake up inside. There's two people inside. And there's one black guy. And he says, oh, hello, Mother. Nice to meet you. I am Father, right? So, obviously, they're just meeting each other. And clearly, they're both robots, right? And so they get out of the ship. And their job is to set up a colony, right? Here's the premise of the show, right? The next thing you know, they got these embryos, and the mother's incubating them, with this ambient fluid and everything. But they're genuinely emotional robots, and you can see it's in their programming. It's so well acted, right? But they're like genuinely emotional, and they have that paternal and maternal instinct, and they have unique personalities as well. And then when you start getting into the backstory of them, there is a real SJW trope going on that the mother, the supreme, powerful thing in the universe pretty early on. Like, she becomes a big bad and then kind of rolls back again.
How many parts are you going to run to? Do we know yet?
Sorry, 10 episodes.
How many episodes?
And I hope it could. If it's only 10 episodes, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm really fine with it. It's a really interesting, meaty story, right? So they got their both distinct and like the black guy obviously becomes kind of like cut, but that's part of his story, and it's really interesting how his character is twisted by events, and how you can see he's like you can see his emotional scars. But he can't because he doesn't have that maturity because he's just a robot, and it's really clever.
Well, it does seem to be making a splash. People are talking about it more excitedly than I think I've heard many things this year. People who I respect certainly are mentioning it and saying you should watch this. Latest of which is yourself. So 3 or 4 other people. But
in my review of it, I said this is probably going to be a classic, but I think it's probably going to be a forgotten classic. I think it's one of those lost gems. But let me keep going through the chat. Paul McDonald, eating Rabbi, further proof of what you always say. Well, do I need any more proof that I'm right? Really? No, I know that. But okay, let's see what you got to say because I'm interested. See, this is how you reel me in, right? This is how you reel me in. By the way, I had a conversation, almost retweeted by Ethan Van Sciver today. Because I put out this video. I had this idea. I'm starting doing like a series of videos on like breaking down comics, like what are the component parts of a great comic, right? Yeah. So I want to go like part by part. So this first one is about pace, and one of the best pace comics I've read recently is Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog. It's got paces. I hate when you read a comic and it's like short.
His stuff's always been like that, hasn't it? It's like cinema on the page. It
flows. But here's the other thing: you can't go too quickly either, because otherwise you feel like you haven't had enough of a bite. If you go, you're done. Like, what the hell, right?
Favor every panel, read every box.
Yeah. So and there's so much visual data in Cyberfrog to read, which is lovely. Okay, but it's the pace that you go. So anyway, I put on the thumbnail said, and why I would argue that Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog is a masterpiece or a masterwork or something like that. Because I really could argue, even though it's not really to my taste. The funny thing, but it is like the art, everything about it. I would say it's a real genuine masterwork. It really is.
I remember the original series in the 90s. It never really took my fancy. But I like when he moved to work for DC. Really on Green Lantern. It's my favorite book, my favorite DC book anyway.
I have to read it. The only one, actually, I want to read the Grant Morrison one. That one really interests me. Apparently, they're firing all the expensive writers, like all those expensive. They're all gone. Yeah, now it's like Banks Versaggio. Yeah,
can you still get Cyberfrog, Rabbi?
Sorry,
can you still get Cyberfrog, or is it once the initial?
He has to go. He's probably got the maybe. I just got the second one. It hasn't come out yet. Oh, and that crowdfunding thing is incredible because now I'm getting a little Cyberfrog toy, right?
Yeah.
But he's got this massive like psychic salamandroid who's like much bigger, right? So you can now buy the salamandroid that goes with the Cyberfrog.
I saw him with the prototype of that in one of his videos. He's got a great YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. But, like, he just makes you want to buy stuff. That's why I desperately want to go on his stream and have him plug my comics.
Well, he's a salesman, isn't he? He's a great salesman.
So good. I want to buy everything he talks about. And I'm like, oh, yes, take it. Oh, I'm like, really?
He's effortlessly cool. Yes. Really, really creative. Really positive as well, positive force in comics. And that's why I think the way that he's been tarred, I mean, I know he is Comicsgate for many, many people, and that's got all these negative overtones. But I view Ethan Van Sciver as an immensely positive force for comics.
Absolutely.
One of the last true icons.
To him, I'm so proudly have the hashtag Comicsgate. I put it in everything I can. One second. Yeah. Paul McDonald has a very important thing to say. He wanted to explain why I'm right. Just let me highlight. I forgot. It's my stream. I can highlight things. There you go. Further, nothing with Whittaker sells, so they're falling back on merch. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get there. Fine. Let me finish saying hello to everybody. Then we'll get it. Mr. Brown, who ride, eat, sleep, repeat. Okay.
Mr. Brown. Hi, Mr. Brown.
That is the way. That's always low. What is it? No, I'm not thinking. I think of Dr. Jones. Yeah, they're from the Dylan song. Gary Hewitt, how you doing? I'm bad, but I just miss people. Oh, Keldich, I said hello to. Ethan Buckheimer, how are you? I hope you're good. I hope no one's atting me in the chat because I have missed it. The real Super Doctor. I thought you were real Super John. Isn't that you, Super John? It's the same avatar, Super John. Okay, real Super Doctor. How you doing, mate?
He's finally qualified.
Yes, I recant my accusation that you were Super John. Where is it? Tracy Thomas. They just jumped on me massively. Well, there's a whole bunch of people I haven't seen. Okay, there is. What was it? Waterboy, Waterboy 0771. I tell you, Waterboy. I don't think I want to be Waterboy 0770. I think that might be the cutoff. Let's see. Well, let's see what he has to say though. That is you see, that's how you get my attention. Hey, Rabbi. That's it. Good opening. We like that. Glad you've gotten to a stream early. Listen, for me, it's late. For me, it's like 8:30. You know, I'm normally in bed for an hour or so by now. Just glad I'm not. Just glad somebody agrees about Jodie without the only reason being honestly, again, it's worth buying this Big Finish release. The one came out this week, Flying Dutchman and the Space. It is freaking awful. It is the worst thing they've ever put out. It is Jodie Whittaker level bad. And I dare anybody else to listen to this piece of steaming shit. You know, I dare
SJW stuff still coming.
Oh my God, this is the worst one. This one could fit into a Jodie series easily. Now, there are two stories on it. Flying Dutchman, which is unbelievably bad in every way you can possibly imagine a story to be bad. And then there's the other one called Displaced, which is just a bit naff, right? Just quite a bit. It's so that one is just so cheap. They're in like I think it's the regular cast plus one person, maybe. Yeah, one regular cast plus one person. It's every like they're trapped in a house trope. Like really, it's audio. It's freaking audio. You're not saving money, right? You're not saving money. And then they're all like self-congratulating at the end because they predicted a lockdown. No. You got lucky, okay? You got lucky.
I mean, you know, just as you are, I'm a big supporter of Big Finish. I've been since day one. But my God, when they do drop a clanger, you really know about it.
No, they've been going bad after worse, really. You had Stranded, you had Perry and the Sixth Doctor and Perry. Oh, God. You had Missy. Missy was the least of the three. And this is awful. Like now I'm glad I pre-bought everything because I feel like I'm the canary in the mine. and I have a pressure on me to like listen to things as early as I can so I can warn people away. Like, no, save your
public
money.
Service, Rabbi.
Save your money. Go find a crack whore. Anything is better than this. Anything. Yeah.
Susan's War was fantastic. I absolutely love that.
Sorry, what?
Susan's War. I absolutely love that.
Oh, so that was excellent. Yeah. Listen, look, they're gonna have good stuff. Hey, listen, let me finish with the chat, and then we can talk about the Big Finish news. Tracy Thomas, how you doing? Derek Moranis, how are you? Mr. Brown, I think Mr. Brown, we have comment on it. Matthew Pounder, how are you?
Matthew.
No. So, you are. Yeah, I thought it was Real Super John again. Man, I'm coming dyslexic. Matthew Pounder, how are you? TARDIS time. Always a good time. TARDIS time. If you're going to be TARDIS time, okay. You have to. Yeah, you're in a TARDIS for a crew. Which era would you be in the TARDIS for?
Ooh.
Okay, my first thought is obviously with Perry, but that seems a bit too stalkerish. Okay? that does. So I'm gonna stick with the JNT years because they were still a little bit.
My happy place too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Nyssa, Tegan. No, Adric's dead. Tegan, Adric's dead. Yeah, if I was gay, Adric too.
I think that. Yeah, I mean I keep going back to the 80s always, but I'm trying not to do that so much. I think they'd probably be a nightmare. I think you'd end up trying to find a quiet spot to listen to music and just chill out a bit if you were traveling around with them.
No.
I think I'd probably go for the Third Doctor and Joe.
Okay, so this is singles to be talking, right? I know I could play Nyssa and Tegan off each other and sleep with both of them. Okay, I know I could do that.
It's a plan.
Again, thank God I'm religious and I'm married. Okay, because I honestly, had I not become religious before I was religious, then I was like, well, the only moral boundary is your own personal taste, and what you can get.
You could sort of shuffle your way into because Nissa's got that laboratory, hasn't she, somewhere in the TARDIS?
Oh yeah, and you can like nudge them off against each other easily, and you can see them want to. Tegan's easiest, right? Tegan's going to want to one up Nyssa pretty quickly, right? But this want to save you, right? So it's a little bit simple.
You could offer to hold Nissa's test tubes for her, and who knows what may develop.
Yeah, and all you got to do is like listen to Nyssa and be kind of like paternal as well. That's basically all she really needs.
You think she likes a dilf?
A dilf? I don't know what that means.
It's like a MILF, but it's male.
Daddy, I'd like to. Dilf? Okay, fine. Okay.
We got there in the end, everybody.
Blimey. See this.
I was called a silver fox today.
What?
I was called a silver fox today because I got Grey coming in there.
Oh, okay. There you go.
A young woman. I at first I was offended, and then I looked at her and I thought, no, this is a good thing, Dan. This is a good thing.
No, this is a good. Listen, use whatever you can. I use exactly. it. Actually, Dan, I have to tell you, it's a weird place to tell you on air in front of everybody. But it always strikes me that a man like you would ever be single. Okay, this is my math on the matter.
It strikes me like that as well, mate.
Okay, hear me out. Okay, you're hygienic. You're washed, okay? Which is really, okay, you're washed, you're well dressed, you're employed, and you're employable, right? You're alive and you're caring. What else? What the hell? And you lost a bunch of weight when you're younger, and you kept it off.
Yeah.
That shows strength and determination. You should be. Again, if there's anybody around Dan who's single, you should be.
You heard the man, girls. I appreciate that. I'll be quoting some of that in my next personal ad when I put the next card in the phone box. That's going to go on it.
You can say with rabbinic approval.
Yes. Well, this is what I recommend to anybody out there. This is general, totally unrelated to geeky stuff, but I was in a long-term relationship for quite a long time. And although it's very easy to jump from one relationship into another, I would recommend anybody out there, particularly for some of you younger ones in your 20s, that although it's quite easy to jump in and out of one relationship, into one bed, into another, time on your own, in between relationships, everybody needs that. even if you're the one who's ended that relationship, I can't tell you how much of a benefit that is to one's own mental health, to your own personal development, because it's very easy to get lost, to lose yourself in a relationship in any
Oh man, I didn't think of that. I did not even consider.
So there is that in play with me, but I didn't think it would go on for as long as it has. This has been nearly a year and a half since my last relationship ended. So
okay, listen, Jews when they're single, they go to J-date, and that just seems to work for everybody, right? They just, apart from unless they're like religious and young. My daughter's just starting to date, and it's the whole like matchmaker thing. It really is. It's like the roof. So, but is there no like J date for like Birmingham date, whatever?
Well, there almost certainly is. I mean, I'm letting all my secrets out here, but pre-COVID and pre-lockdown, I've never had a big problem in meeting women. But you get to a certain point in your life, and because I'm 40. And you don't want to keep having the same experiences over and over again and kind of keep wasting your time, really, I suppose. That's not fair. Not wasting your time, but you try and you sort of live and you learn and not get into the same relationship over and over and over again. And particularly if you get this sort of red flags pop up, and not just about the other person, but sometimes you can meet people who don't bring out the best in you. And I do have a habit of perhaps meeting.
That was actually my father. He was a person who brought out the worst in me. Oh my god! My dad was such a deal. Like, after my mother died, first thing he spent the last 15 years like heartbroken. But so there is that. But he was such a he could pick up women constantly. I don't know. He had the gift of. I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how. But if I did, but he would always. It freaked me out. No one. I mean, like, he wasn't constantly. It wasn't like that. He was never single, right? He was never single. Which I don't know how. Listen, I don't know how, but he was like prime meat in the in that age group, But that's the thing. Here's the thing. In the Jewish world, right? You meet somebody, and you instantly know. Like, I know a bunch of women who, if I met somebody like you around me, I would set up with. Like, it's just the way we are. Like, so again, listen. It's a bit of a strange diversion.
Is it worth me? Well, I'm going to join I should join the Jewish community by the sounds.
We got a Jewish community, Muslim community, Italian community. All those three you want. Any other? Italian's probably the easiest. Italian's probably the easiest.
I recently, I've been on a couple of dates with an Italian woman quite recently.
There you go. Oh, Greek's also good. Greek. They have a
bit of a feeder. Bit of a feeder.
Bit of a feeder. What does that mean?
Yeah. I've often, I know we're going wildly off topic here, so I hope people are interested. But these subjects. I often think about talking about these sorts of things online, particularly the whole weight loss thing, because that really did change my life. And discovering,
you can open a second channel and brand it. You really should, especially put a geeky angle on it. You would do really well. I think you would. Anyway.
I might do that because I like having those. It's the kind of thing, and I won't go into it very deeply, but it's the kind of thing when you've had. Like reformed smokers. If you talk to them about smoking, they go on and on and on about it afterwards. I can be like that about weight loss and about health and about
I completely.
It's all tied in. Your mental health is tied into these things, and this is why I sometimes say things which aren't generally perceived as being politically correct. Because. You things are habitual. We were talking last week, weren't we, about eating and about eating being habitual, and it's all a lot of it's connected to your mind. Yes, but that's a story for another time, maybe.
That's basically why I'm eating potatoes and water. For that.
Yeah. So if there's any Jewish websites out there, Jewish single ladies, I don't know. I'll get my profile ready.
Listen, I'm just saying there must be. It's okay. This is an announcement to everybody. Okay, there's got to be a dozen women within who would like you could just settle down with forever and you would be happy, right? Within a mile's walk, there's got to be.
That's all that any of us really wants.
Yeah.
Even the people out there who say they're happy single. I'm content enough single. And I would hope that people out there, I hope that you're all content in your day-to-day lives as well, whether you're single or in a relationship, because you should seek to be contented. And if you're not contented, if you're not happy single, then you should never look to get into a relationship to make you happy and to bring you contentment. But I do believe, Rabbi, because in the dim and distant past, I've spoken to you how envious I am, and the admiration I've got for you in a marriage for over 25 years. That's it really is excellent.
Honestly, it's a religious thing. There's one of the big advantages of being genuinely religious. It really is, because in the end of the day, if you both have the same belief system, and belief system involves the deity, it just makes it so. I don't know. It's
as long as there's not three people in the marriage. But it's, but yeah, all this stuff with relationships, it's being in a relationship, I believe, is the best way to live your life. Having that person there who you want the same things out of life with. You don't have to live in each other's pockets. She doesn't like geeky stuff. Maybe that's fine too. I've dated mostly non-Doctor Who fans.
Okay, my wife doesn't watch anything geeky whatsoever. She doesn't watch my videos, and that actually, I'm like, really? And she's like, no, because she can't listen to she won't listen. She doesn't do talk radio at all or anything like that. It just annoys the hell out of her. So we're just different people. That's all it is. Yeah.
A few years ago, I was writing a regular blog for an online shop, and my partner then at the time, she was quite behind me at first, and she read a couple of them, but after about a fortnight, it's like, well, you talk about this stuff all the time anyway. Why would I want when I'm not around you? Why would I want to click and go and read it? Which I suppose is perfectly fine.
It's fair enough, absolutely fair enough. So there you go. Okay, that's a bit of a tangent. That was indeed.
Yeah, so girls in the chat, let me know. In the Birmingham area or not.
I mean, whatever state that you're in, it's a big part of Jewish philosophy. Whatever you are, it's basically what the ultimately best thing for you at that point in your space and time continuum in your existence. So there's a lot of contentment. I think, at least I take it that when shit happens, which is a lot, which is often. So Mr. Brown, how are you? Rule Super Doctor, Evelyn, Gary Hewitt, Bobby D, not Bobby B. Paul says best Doctor Who. Paul says best Doctor Who, and I'm gonna bet that best Doctor Who probably isn't the 13th, even though I don't think there is a 13th. 13th Doctor is actually, strictly speaking, Capaldi, right? Charlotte Shields, how you doing? I just jumped again. The Time Prophet. The Time Prophet will tell us where we're going to go next. Who could it be? Where could it be?
The Time Prophet. I love your cartoon, your icon there. Yeah, I've seen you around, haven't I? I think we're in a couple of chat groups together, aren't we?
Okay, I think I'm caught up with that. So fine. So we have this thing to talk about, Dalek Universe. What do you know about it thus far?
Absolutely nothing apart from seeing one bit of promotional artwork of David Tennant with two people either side who are dressed like Sarah Kingdom.
Yes, exactly. I'm just going to pull it up here.
What do
you think of my thumbnail? Oh man, it was such a bummer.
Glorious. Have you made that yourself, or is that the publicity artwork?
No. It's still from the video they put out, which we're gonna watch in a second. And I photoshopped David Tennant on it with a plunger over his arm. But I just finished the Photoshop. I got like, who was it? Two sexy girls on it. I thought that'll do. I had Jessica Brown Finlay Brown Finlay from Brave New World, looking very hot, and I had what's his name, Erin Moriarty, who plays Starlight in The Boys, looking very hot in a fucking Starlight outfit, right? I was there just for it, and I had the weird freaky robot woman from what's the name, Raised by Wolves, hovering in the background, and it was really good.
She's on the list as well, is she?
And then this news dropped. I'm like, well, I had to redo the whole thing. The headline was 2020, the year of unexpectedly good TV. And I was like, mother. I changed the whole thing. Fine, let me pull this up. Share screen. We go share screen, and we go to Chrome tab. Share. David Tennant enters the Dalek universe. In April next year, David Tennant will return as the 10th Doctor for a monumental full cast Doctor Who audio drama series from Big Finish Productions in association with BBC Studios. So there's essentially it's a 9-part. It's a 9-part. It's an extra season. It's a new season of David Tennant.
I was going to say it sounds like more than the average box set. If it's a series of releases, there's 9 of them.
Yeah, it's a new. It's like we got the season of we got the new season of the 9th Doctor and the new seasons of the 10th Doctor. No, we got the 9th Doctor and the 10th Doctor. The River Song one comes out next month. Fine. Let's do you want to see the trailer? Oh, they don't have the trailer here?
Yeah.
What's wrong with them? Really? Here, let me pull up the trailer.
That's Jane Slavin playing the...
Yeah.
She plays Tom Baker's companion, doesn't she?
She was played in 2 box sets. Did you see it?
No.
Oh, really? They were good. And again, it's Tom Baker has a speech at the end when she leaves, which is excellent. Excellent. 1 second. Dalek.
I can't remember the name of the character.
What's the name?
Who's the guy? Doesn't it?
He's going to be. One second. Let me pull up the trailer. Here's the trailer. The trailer's freaking awesome. 1 second. And we'll get to monetize, but the trailer's that good. It's so good, it's worth it. Go over here. So we're gonna wrong button. You go. Stop that window. Share this window. Chrome tab. Dalek Universe. Okay, here we go. Hopefully it'll play. It's a minute and a half.
Everything ends. Friendship.
Oh, where'd it go?
Every story ever told finishes in death if you tell it.
Yeah, trailers are getting better and better.
Fact of life. Got used to that now.
Real texture to them now.
Time. Across space, I've lost it all. Family, friends, my own people, my home. Donna. Rose. I've always survived. I've always endured. I've always got through whatever's been thrown at me. However much I lose, I always carry on. To bear that burden. To remember them. Everything ends eventually. But sometimes, just sometimes, it comes back.
Oh. Classic Dalek.
That's a pretty good trailer.
Yeah. And he sounds absolutely puckered, doesn't he? Completely.
Yeah. He sounds like I got a job during lockdown, and they sound like we've got a bunch of good releases. Everyone's happy.
So what do you think? 3 box sets, 3 stories each.
3 stories here. Let me read the thing. So, and there's actually, but wait, there's more here. Did you notice the mechanoids in the trailer?
No.
There you just saw carcass are like blowing up, and you have to look at it. I only saw it this time around. Okay, so Dalek Universe comprises of 9 one-hour-long episodes, which will see the Doctor pulled out of time and sent back to the era before the last great time war. Here he finds himself battling for survival in a universe full of Daleks, mechanoids, Movellans, and Davros. David Tennant said, "It's a big old epic sweep. It reminds me of a little bit of those Flash Gordon serials that used to be on TV during school holidays when I was a kid."
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rocket Man, all those ones.
He really is one of us, isn't he? In every way, he's one of us.
I mean, other than the stupid socialism, which he wouldn't have if he had a real job. You know, like if he wasn't a billionaire famous guy, he would be voting Tory. And I'm feeling a little bit guilty about it, but he'll do it anyway. It's like,
yeah, I'd say that's very much the case. Yeah,
income tax is income tax, baby. Anyway,
Usually, this is quite a lot of information for them to put out day one without a named writer.
Well, Nicholas Briggs is on his. We'll go and look at it. I think he got some production information. So here, Big Finish producer David Richardson said, "What is Dalek Universe? Well, it's a full season of Doctor Who adventures starring David Tennant as a Doctor in over 10 years. It's the first full season of Doctor in over 10 years. So it is saying this is your replacement for if you're they're clearly saying if you're missing Doctor Who, we got 2 seasons coming for you. 2021, baby." Listen, you don't have to pay for that license fee, but you can get your Doctor Who about the same price. That's basically what they're saying. What is it? What the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. It's also a huge celebration of work of the imagination Terry Nation. Oh, now they're going to roll out the member bearers, baby. This time the Doctor has no TARDIS for Sanctuary and no Rose or Martha. Oh, I don't like he doesn't have the TARDIS. Or Donna to help. I don't like he doesn't have the TARDIS. But he's reunited with 2 faces from the past, 2 serving agents from the Space Security Service, Anya Kingdom, must be a relation to Sarah Kingdom. Anya Kingdom betrayed the Doctor in his 4th incarnation. Oh, right. Kenshi Mekamez. We've now got to go back and listen to the story. Mark 7 is the artificial man, a man with a mysterious history. Together, the trio will join forces and discover who has pulled the Doctor back in time, and more importantly, how they can get him back home. The series will be preceded by a special prologue, The Dalek Protocol, a 4-part Doctor Who story set in on the planet Exelon, starring Tom Baker as the 4th Doctor, also featuring Louise Jameson and K-Bloody-9. What else? Does it come with a hand job? Really? What else?
This sounds absolutely brilliant. This sounds better than Time Lord Victorious by a mile.
Not even close. Sounds better than the Eccleston season. Okay. Fine. Each 3 volumes of Dalek Universe will be released in a 4-disc collector's edition box set or download containing 3 brand new stories, 3 brand new full cast audio stories, plus a selection of behind-the-scenes extras. Okay. Doctor Who fans worldwide can now pre-order Dalek Universe, and yes, we are. Okay, it's just happening. Will be available in 3 formats. Collector's edition CD, digital download, that's what I'm getting, and limited edition gatefold triple LP, starting from just $19.99.
They're pushing that vinyl hard next year, aren't they?
Oh, they are. Okay, it sells. They found a seller.
It does, yeah.
Big Finish listeners can have pre-ordering a bundle for just £66 as a collector's edition box set, or $58 as a download. Yeah, that's what I'm going to get. Pre-order CD here. Was it the Dalek Universe triple LP vinyls are strictly limited to a pressing of 1,000 per volume. Oh, so the collector's items, these are going to go like hotcakes. You can get the bundle for £35 each and £99 for all 3. So there we go. That is,
as you say, it's a better use of your license fee money.
It really is, and also it's But I like that it's an epic story. That I've been bitching about that, right? I've been bitching.
So does Rosie. She loves this. I can tell.
Who? Oh, Rosie. I thought you said Rover. I thought you had a dog for a second.
Don't you? Yeah, she is.
So yeah, listen. I mean, it's certainly. It kind of got more exciting. I've just been burnt by them though. I'm like, I guess I'm gonna get it, but like. I don't think the social justice stuff this last release was the worst thing I've ever heard. It was so bad. Okay, so it's a set. Okay, I just quickly go over it. It's essentially the Seventh Doctor, Ace, and Hex, who are an audio TARDIS crew.
Yeah, I like them. I've always enjoyed Hex.
Right. So they got really good. This crew got really good. So this is set before them when they're a little bit annoying. So for some reason, right? And they land in the 1752 on a ship, right? And it's the worst story. Okay, firstly, there is a cabin boy in it who's clearly a woman who confides to Ace 10 minutes later. I'm really a girl. And she's like, but I can do to see, and I can do anything a boy can do. Ooh, yes. And at the end of the story, which is essentially a Scooby-Doo plot, where the villains have been wearing phosphorus to make themselves appear like ghosts.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not. It was the stupidest thing ever.
On audio as well.
And the characterization was even worse. Characterization was the you had the captain who was like a total knobend for the first episode, right? And then for half the second episode he was. Then all of a sudden he suddenly becomes a hero, and he's like, and there's no transition. It's not like Sylvester McCoy's Doctor convinces him. I'm like, no, it's just really badly written. And then, but the worst thing at the end is the cabin boy Anna, Archie, who's really Anna, who clearly she's like, really. It's like, listen, Rebecca Root, who's in Stranded, who's a trans actress who's in Stranded. Yeah. Sounds like a bloody bloke. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Was it her playing this character as well?
What? No, I'm saying, listen, it doesn't work on audio.
No, it doesn't at all. It seems a strange choice to me.
Just doesn't fly. You need the dress, mate. Okay, you need the wig. Otherwise, we're not buying it. Otherwise, you sound like a freaking bloke. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. I'm not making it up. I'm not trying to be mean to you.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I haven't heard those, but I can completely believe it.
Right. So Anna says, so it turns out the first mate was really the villain. And so his punishment, rather than being murdered, who tried to kill everybody, he's been demoted to cabin boy. And the cabin boy, who's revealed as but I'm really a girl, flicks her hair, in the front of a bunch of horny sailors who've been at sea for 6 months, flicks her hair, I'm really a girl. And she said, well, by jiggery. And he slaps her thigh like he's in a panto. I said, as you've been so good, you can continue. Now you're my first mate. And they all say how to. Clearly, the next day she's going to be gang raped by a bunch of bloody sailors. Like, what the hell? This 15-year-old girl's going to be raped and murdered, within a day.
I certainly see how that could be viable and historic. Is it tonally more like a CBBC kind of thing, and not in a good way, not like Sarah Jane?
This one is entirely a Jodie episode. It is as dumb as a Jodie episode. It is a Jodie episode. It is. I don't know how this got past any level of script editing. It is ridiculous.
It's a bit of a worry, obviously, because we both love Big Finish, and the idea that this has been 4 or 5 releases on the bounce now.
And listen, I'm sorry, it's the 2 female writers. One's the first-time writer. The other one, this is not her first gig, but. This is just it. You want to look and see what else she's done?
Maybe if customers say, look, guys, this was shit. Don't do it again.
We're saying that. We all need to say, listen.
Get in touch with them and say,
I want to write and complain though. Yes, this is Gemma Arrowsmith. Okay, so she's got 3 credits. This is she wrote one of the Missy's box set, that which was. Completely.
I think I saw her boasting about that on social media about getting this story.
Yeah.
It seemed like the sharpest knife in the box, to be honest.
So she hasn't got a great. Look, if you don't want to say you're a diversity hire, she's done the Paternoster Gang, like a female-led audio. She's done Missy, a female-led audio, and she's done this, which is shit, right? And so if you don't want to say you're a diversity hire, just hire to write bloody stories. Right?
Are you still following Amanda Gill on Twitter?
Like a writer. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that she's being called a diversity hire, but that's clearly what she is because her work is substandard.
Well, that does sound absolutely appalling.
It is absolutely appalling. It's honestly, it's an offense. It's like, and the other one is like Amateur Hour. It's set in a freaking house where you got the stupid alien with a and you can't hardly understand him. Yeah, it was. Oh my god, and reasonably boring. It's just a waste of the cast. Yeah, we catch up. I'm said hello to some people. Clacker the Greek. I do like your name, Clacker. Clacker the Greek. See, I was trying to hook up Dan with the Greek world. I said, listen, gonna go Greek, baby. Lots of feta and doner kebabs. You'll be fine, mate. Daniel, how you doing? That's basically okay. You get used to hummus, okay? If you
sounds good.
Listen, if you apply, okay, start dating a Greek girl. She's got to make it. Once she makes you, gives you her own homemade hummus. That's good sign. Okay, that you're doing well.
I do like hummus. Yeah, that would go a long way with me. That
would, wouldn't it? Listen, he's right here for you, ladies. Right here, waiting for you. Now you got the key to his heart. There you go.
A spot of hummus and that's it.
Google hummus. Go get. It's just chickpeas and all. You know, it's anyone can make it. David Enke, how you doing? Lee Anthony Davis, how it jumped to me. Lee Anthony Davis, how you doing? And Daniel said, CJ Campbell, 37. Let me get a quick go back through here, but I got to mute it. There you go. Have a quick look back, see if anybody's active me. Oh, a bunch of people. 1 second. Sounds like using parts of Termination's Unmade Dalek series. Yes, Disaster says that's exact. But yeah, they're riffing on that. They're doing it on purpose. Darren says, does it come with a Freeman Adjaman and bikini? That's the only way the bundle can be improved. Yes, yes, you are correct. It doesn't come with that. 2020 is a bad, but at least Jodie is on screen view. There's 2020. We're going to talk about in a minute. Good freaking TV that you don't know about. Timer says my wife watches my videos. Only way to get out, folks. Listen, everybody go to Time Profit, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're notified, and then you can upvote all his videos. By the way, click the like button here. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, baby. I went vegan and jam. Best thing I ever did. Feel great. Well, being vegan now is so easy. Like everything's freaking vegan.
It's getting that way. Yeah, I'm not actually vegan myself, but I have flirted with it.
Right. I mean, that's basically what I am. But but again, we got Jewish New Year coming up. So okay, let me just go over the menu with you. We got first night, Friday night is we normally do beef Wellington, Yorkshire puddings, peas, roast potatoes. You know, the full British English trimmings, right? And normally I'm trying not to eat most of this. I'm gonna have some beef Wellington and some Yorkshire pud and peas. That's just gonna happen, mate. You know, if they have parsnips, I'll get parsnips, but they don't have parsnips in my country. What can you do? But I'll avoid the honey cake. Yeah, but you have all these they got these traditions going. Like you have these different food you eat and say different things. So you get like an apple and you dip it in honey. You get a slice of apple. And you to indicate a sweet new year because the apple is round, and then you got a lot of things. You have a lot of things as your enemies will be decimated. Like you have a gourd, and you have a fenugreek and a carrot. You're supposed to be a bit of a sheep's head or a fish head, which I don't. You know, we used to do gummy fish, and you have a bit of salmon. They're different things you have to do. So you have all that, and then we have soup. My wife makes this really good mushroom soup now, chicken base with wine. It's really good. So you got that, and then we got the beef Wellington, blah, blah, blah. Then it'll be like honey cake or so. Basically, we're done. So then we've got to be up at 6 a.m. because there's no synagogue. So everything's outside. Everything's outside, right? There's outside.
Is being up at 6 a.m. part of the sort of the ritual of it?
No. Normally I go to the early prayer thing, which is at 7, but we're up at 6 because we're outside. We're praying outside in groups outside, and it's going to get hot. So we want to start before the sunrise, right? Yeah. So we got an abbreviated service this year, so it normally takes about 3.5 hours. Now it's going to be 2 to 2.5 hours, right? So then you come home though, and then you have another huge meal. So then you got what was that? We're doing meat. So what was it? My wife's making a brisket. It's more stuff, right? So there's that, and then in the evening You got another huge meal. So that one where you don't have meat and milk together in Judaism. You have to. So we're having a milk meal, which my son is going to be apoplectic about. So we're having like salmon and like mashed potato, and it's like so opulent. And then there's another meal the next day. It's like it just goes on. It's like a traditional food,
real feast.
Yeah, is like you have this thing with carrots and sweet potato and meat. My country had chicken, and then English had like they would do dumplings in it called matzo balls. You put matzo balls in it, honey, lots of honey, and you cook it for like 8 hours, right? And it's called simmer. So that's your basic New Year's food. Everything very sweet.
It sounds like Well, it sounds like you probably need a couple of months where you probably wouldn't need to eat again. Or
well, no. The next day is the fast of Gedalia, easiest fast of the year. Because it really is. That's no problem. All right.
You feel like you're going to have a baby anyway.
Yeah. So, but again, this year I'm really going to exercise a lot of like. Well, I don't need to exercise restraint. I just eat a lot less anyway. That's the good thing about just eating. That's why I mean potatoes and water for 2 weeks. Because I'm trying to strict
gotcha.
And like
a health kick or something. Yeah, there's people in the chat are getting very, very hungry as well.
I'm sorry, but then when I eat simply, I'm like, if I have a stick of corn, I'm like, this is incredible. And like, the more rich stuff, I'm not interested in. And it like last time I did it, I really did it hardcore, and I couldn't look at burgers. Like after about a month, I couldn't look at a McDonald's. I was revolted by it. And I knew as weird and fried chicken because I'm weird. My brain knows I like it, but my body was just revolted by it. And I lost like weight. I did really good, right? And then lockdown happened, and it all fell apart. Lockdown was a freaking nightmare. So I said I'm kind of happy to be losing weight again, but oh my god, it's a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, well, Happy New Year! I look forward to seeing some pictures. You have to show some pictures of all this stuff.
Okay, it's kind of like right now is also my wife. Oh my god! So there's a thing called tashlich where you throw your sins into a pond, into a water, and we happen to have quite a nice pond, outside. So we always invite people. Say come, say this. You do it in the afternoon, right? Yeah. So I said, well, let's put food out and stuff. So people have snack thing. It becomes like a social thing. But this year we can't like put food out because people put their hands in everything. My wife's baking cookies in the shape of apples, right? And individually decorating them, wrapping them in individual bags, right? So she can put out a whole like platter of stuff that people can take without having to worry about, Corona. So that's what she's doing right now.
Oh God, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. It's bound to have an impact on like a feast for a group of people, a gathering.
Right. Oh, let's say I just Time Brothers asked me, what are you saying? Did we invite you for the fourth wave of the Fundamental Community chat on Twitter? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe. But if it's on Friday, Saturday, come.
The fourth wave of TFN. TFM. What does TFM stand for? Oh, the Fandom Menace.
Yeah. Fandom Menace. I'm not sure, but yes. Sorry, somebody said something about food. Marty Carlin, I came in to say hello to you, but I'm not sure if I did. We're up to date. Fine. So there you go. Oh my god! And then, by the way, I've been editing this video as a job for this guy. Do me a favor. Go and sub to my friend's channel. I'm gonna pull it up. The Rabbi Cooks. It's kind of a fun channel. Yeah, I gotta find it.
The Rabbi Cooks.
The Rabbi Cooks. So basically, he likes cooking, but he gives like a little like life lesson.
Okay.
I'm subscribed.
Maybe I should start doing that with my geeky talk, like you're saying. Rabbi Cooks.
Listen, go and look at this as like a template. So I'm putting it in the chat. Do me a favor.
I've got it up on screen now. Yeah.
Fine. So he's got this brisket recipe, which I just edited, and I was like, oh my god, it looks like because he's got wine and vegetables and everything with garlic, and he's like putting it in there. And he's frying it up, and he's like adds wine and things. And he cooks this brisket. I'm telling you, he's trimming the fat of the brisket, right? And some meat comes off of the fat. Says, "No, we're not throwing it that way." Bam, into the sauce. I'm like, oh my god, that looks so freaking good. So,
I've just seen. Is that pineapple rings he's got there? My god.
Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely going to get a sub. Yeah, in fact, can I sub for it on this now? I can't. I'll have to drop it into my other window. Got a couple of browsers up. Yeah, I'll chuck him a sub. Looks like a good guy.
Yeah, he's fun. So I'm editing his videos right now. I'll pay good money to see you cook a live. I'll tell you. Look, okay, when my daughter gets back, I really want to do a stream with her cooking shashuka, which is like an Israeli breakfast thing. Which I didn't like until my neighbor made it, which is freaking awesome. Best I ever had. It's kind of like a Middle Eastern tomato stew thing with like peppers and stuff, and you have it with bread. It's very good. It's very good. But yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely do want to. I always want to get my wife like I wanted to do like matzo balls, and my wife won't do it, you know. But yeah, I always thought that'd be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're on the panel. Fine. Great TV. So fine. We talked about
great TV. Yeah.
Great TV. No, we talked about Raised by Wolves. Definitely should check it out. It's really worth. Okay. I would say it's worth the $15 for a month. So wait.
Well, you never let me down with this stuff. To be fair, I find you a pretty good barometer for what I'm going to like.
Yeah, but listen, we've got interesting places on Video Vault.
Just as that was leaving my lips, I thought, "Fucking hell, this bloke made me watch High Rise."
I was going to say, which I still enjoyed. Yeah, I still enjoyed that. But, yeah,
the other day, I saw a trailer for Ben Wheatley's new movie. He's doing a remake of Rebecca. Yeah. And I thought, God, that sounds brilliant. It's got Lily James in. I fancy that girl something rotten. And I thought, God, that could be really good. And then I thought, Christ, he made High Rise. And time froze just for a couple of seconds.
Time fine. I'll check my Twitter after I finish the stream. We got the Vegan Grub is great. Sweet Bacon. Have you seen the new series Des? No, I haven't. On ITV. David Tennant.
David Tennant is the serial killer.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I'll check it out. I mean, listen, I got. I was going to watch Minority Report tonight because I got Video Vault.
Yes, tomorrow. That's what I'll be watching as well. I haven't got a TV license anymore, so I don't watch any of this stuff with because you can't watch ITV or Channel 4 either or Sky.
Really? You can't watch any of those?
No, I tell you what. I made a video about my journey with the TV license as well. Right. I'll tell you, the BBC. I wasn't their biggest fan anymore by the time I cancelled my license fee, obviously. But what I've learned of them since I cancelled it, it'll take a miracle for me to even consider having one again after the things those sods have put in letters to me. And how they've got a stranglehold on all of broadcast TV. You can't even watch Sky. Bear in mind, you pay a subscription to Sky completely separately. So I can't see this thing with.
Like you can get subscription, you can get anything you want on iTunes, and or get Netflix.
I'll wait for it to come on Netflix. I got Netflix and Amazon Prime, so I just wait for anything to come on there.
Right. Listen, what I do, just like on an ethical level, if there's a bunch of stuff that I want, but I don't have access to in Israel, so I buy a subscription normally with a VPN. I normally need a VPN to get the subscription.
Yeah, I've got a VPN too. Yeah.
Fine, and then I just download it from BitTorrent. Like once I pay for it, I'm like, I'll just take it. I'm not going to like BitTorrent it without that. But just BitTorrent. Yeah, what's that? What's that? Minority Report. Minority Report is the only blue movie I watch. What?
You must have seen a different version of it to me, man.
I tell you, I can't even imagine a porn version of that.
Director's cut, yeah.
Although I guess there's a porn version of everything. If there's a porn version of like politics, right? There's a porn version of Trump, right? I mean, I guess that was in real life.
There's not a porn version of like when they take the cameras into the House of Commons, or
no, I can't. That would be that would not be an aphrodisiac. But yeah,
every time I come on this show, we talk about porn. Every time.
Okay, I am all fascinated, absolutely fascinated by it. I love porn names; they always make me laugh. What's the one I'm thinking of? Who's Nailing Palin? That was the one.
Oh!
That was the one because the reason is in 30 Rock, right? In 30 Rock, for some reason, Tracy Jordan's character had in his contract that he would have a porn parody made of his life. So the woman in the porn parody in 30 Rock was they interviewed her, and the reason she got the job because she played Sarah Palin in the porn parody Who's Nailing Palin, and what's her name, Liz Lemon, what's the name of the actress?
I can't remember. Oh,
Tina Fey, right? Tina Fey was famous for playing Sarah Palin, so that's how they cast her as the porn version of her in 30 Rock, right? So there you go.
That's unmissable. Yeah, I want to have on order. Get that in for Christmas.
Little known fact. So, riffing on the porn industry for a second.
Yeah.
Me and Dan have watched a TV show, which I think comments on that a little bit.
I'd say so.
The industrialization of lust, which is a definite part of the show. Brave New World.
So many angles to this bloody show. I'm still thinking about it. I finished watching it 2 weeks ago.
Right. So, okay, I'm going to spoil it for everybody now because I really want to talk to Dan about it. Anybody who doesn't want to know, get off it. It's really worth watching. So I think the basic point of this show was it's about an artificial society, right? Which was completely created by an algorithm in a Google-like company, right? Are you with me on this? Yeah?
Oh, God, yeah.
Completely. Yeah, fine.
It's a complete riff on social media.
Fine. So the society they make, at the top you have the alphas who are who are in charge, and then you have the betas who are less intelligent, but they're like the higher management and the scientists, say. And then you have like the gammas who are like when you go on like a club, a package holiday, they'll be the rep, they'll be the company rep. That's the guy. And then they did that in the show. That hi, I'm Gamma Gracie when she was on the tour guide on the bus, right? Which I really thought was clever. So you got that, and then you have like the deltas who are like these like basically moronic workers, right? So it's all basically what it turns out to be. It's all an intense facade to keep everybody busy, so they keep their lives spinning and keep their lives going. And they don't notice anything. So the alphas are not really in charge. The alphas are their only job is to monitor the other levels and give them like they're controlled by lots of sex, open free sex all the time. A complete relationships are completely forbidden. Monogamy is completely forbidden. And everyone's got this constant drug called Soma, which they really delivers very cool. Everything is very slick. Everything is like it's designed by Apple, right? They live in a world designed by Apple.
This has been talked about to every minute detail, hasn't it? Both on screen and up there.
Yeah, it's essentially so and then the deltas you realize, the betas you realize are basically sex machines. They're fembots. Designed to have sex with the alphas so they don't notice what's going on in their lives, right? Everything's designed just to maintain, because the computer's idea is them all to be completely happy and live happy, contented lives, which, this is what the Twitterati think are happy.
I was just thinking about Twitter and people with check marks.
Yeah, this is their definition of a good life, right? And so you got this whole other society, this outer society. So you can see what happened. Like clearly, these nut jobs thought global warming was going to happen, and they said, "Oh, we got to do this," and they did it, even though because they're convinced, the world's going to end, but it clearly didn't, right? And so they created this world, which they then fenced off and took over the whole world, apparently. And us humans are not allowed in. Only these artificial people there. Air is born by
certainly Great Britain is now called New London, you get the impression it's all of Great Britain is now London, don't you?
Yeah. I think I got the impression that most of Western Europe was. It seems to be. I mean, they got rockets everywhere. They got rockets to America. Yeah, so the outsiders, the savages were essentially Trump voters, right? The allegories are really so clear.
That is kind of what they were saying.
Yeah.
The way they live.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's a fascinating series, and I've never read the book, and maybe I will at some point, or maybe I'll research it or whatever.
I mean, the book is very. I think it's saying. I mean, me and probably disagree strongly in this. I think it's saying the same thing as a book, but saying it in a language of the current world.
I mean, I feel like I'm still almost marinating in this show.
That's why it's so good. That's what I mean. Again,
it's literate. It's literature on your TV, and when was the book written, mate?
1930. Well, it was the 30s.
I know it's been filmized before, adapted before. But this is Grant Morrison as well, isn't it? Is it Grant Morrison?
Yeah. Grant, yeah. Fantastic job. You can see why he's leaving comics. 1932.
He's leaving comics. Oh God, bloody hellfire!
Well, yeah. No, I mean, he hasn't announced he's leaving comics, but like the DC aren't renewing his contracts, and people can't afford him anymore. And that's basically he's got this going on. Good for him. Because again, this was really exceptionally good.
Well, when I last spoke to you about this, I think it was on this show, I mentioned Harry Lloyd, who's an actor who's never, ever charmed me. And I've seen him in several shows, Game of Thrones, Robin Hood, Doctor Who, 3 or 4 others. And I've always been mystified why the people who employ him talk him up so much. But here, in Brave New World, it's exceptional. In fact, so is Jessica Finley Brown.
Yeah.
So is Alden.
Exactly. Who basically her arc is she basically realizes that she's a fembot, right? She's a sex toy.
Yes. Yep.
And it's incredible. So you got all these woke tropes.
Well, they sort of move like that, don't they? For a proportion of it, and they sort of interconnect in the middle. But and then as the story progresses, they end up in wildly different places again. Well, both emotionally and geographically. And for that sort of precise moment, it's like destiny, but going on the other side. And I mean, I don't know whether you'd call it a happy ending, but it's every aspect of this.
It's an intro. I mean, it's not the ending from the book. It's an intro. I mean, I guess I guess they left it open for a second season. I know we haven't talked about the other standout in this, which was it Aldrin Heinrich?
He's amazing in it.
He's so good at it. He's so we're introduced to him because there's this primitive settlement. What they call it? No, savage settlement, where the people from the New London go to visit, so they can see the savages in the wild.
Like a theme park, isn't it? They live in trailers and stuff like Roman gypsies used to.
Yeah. But this is just the way they make money, obviously. So they have, and there's you have 4 stops in this. So you have the House of Want, which is they get to see like a stylized version of what's it called again? Black Friday, where people come and fight over boxes.
Very, very clever.
And then there's the House of Consequence, which is you don't see that. That's jail.
Prison, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's the House of Monogamy, which is where everything goes pear shaped. So Aldrin Heinrich works at the House of Monogamy, where they put on this show about where they come and watch people fight each other and shoot each other over women, over a woman who's pregnant.
And they stage it like a sort of Jerry Springer kind of show, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And it's very but they use they use the language of the city people. They said, I'm gonna be monogamous with you. Don't be monogamous with you, be monogamous with me. Because they find the idea of monogamy, like monogamy and motherhood.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just bizarre and wrong. They get there. They're watching the show, and you realize there's this whole resistance who just want to kill all these fake people, right? So there's this ambush happens, and they're caught in the middle of it, and that's when you get in this incredible adventure for an episode.
Yeah.
Which is where they're essentially fighting for their lives, and they're helped by this guy, the Heinrich, who is again. I liked him in Hell Caesar. I liked him in Hell Caesar. I thought he was probably okay in Han Solo. I don't think it's his.
Yeah, me too. I didn't find him insufferable. He didn't switch me out of the film. No,
right. Yeah, I mean, I think he had decent chemistry with what's her name, the Game of Thrones lady.
Emilia Clarke. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it did. I felt bad for them because they should have got better. They should have got a better It wasn't befitting of their talent. It wasn't befitting of the talent of anybody. I would love to see the original version of it, the Lord Miller version, to see what their.
So would I now. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I know a man who does. Problem being,
that's all. Yeah, it's very good. Fine. So yeah, listen. Brave New World, absolutely fascinating. It's going to be on Sky, I think, in a few months. I'm really trying to get in touch with that guy's agent. What's he called again? With Bernard. It was
Harry Lloyd.
Harry Lloyd. I'm really trying to get in there, touch an agent. I'd love to. Well, why can't I get him on the channel?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, listen, you want to promote it? Yeah, the grassroots channel.
Particularly if it's coming onto Sky, and it helps when you know if you like what they do. But who really surprised me as well was Demi Moore.
Oh yeah, so Demi Moore's in it. Demi Moore is playing this beta from the city who got stranded outside the city.
I didn't see any of that coming. None of it.
Well, I knew it because I knew the book. So she was fat. So she played this woman. She's been forced to live without this like numbing drug soma for like 20 years. What happened was she fell in love with her. A lot of time these betas and alphas who are taught from birth to pair up with each other. The betas are taught to cleave to the alphas, like in this really kind of disturbing way. And everybody is insanely hot. Yeah, yeah, notice
that. There's not many ugly people in that, is there?
Yeah, that's clearly designed that way. But they're in their work clothes. This beta is a scientist, and she's assigning like levels to embryos, right? And you realize pretty, about the time she does, a machine could do that probably easier. This is just to give her a sense of like she's a scientist, right? There's a sense to give her like to keep her away from the idea that she exists for sex. Yeah, she's a sex machine basically. She's a fembot.
As erotic as some of this is, and this, like you say, some very good-looking people in it, and I've always liked Jessica Finley Brown anyway. And some of it is a massive turn on. I won't lie to you, but
yes.
But it's not.
Absolutely.
But it isn't gratuitous. It's not a cheap.
No, it's
show.
not.
These aren't cheap thrills. They're very expensive thrills. And it's there. It's absolutely essential that it's there as well. I think for it to not for it to really get to you there, for you to think yourself into this situation. Because although you can't really relate to these people at first, as the comparisons that they're clearly making in this with social media, as they become more and more obvious, then you do start to relate to it more. You do start to wonder what you would do and what makes you, and how one is responding to all of this, really, to the way that we live our lives now. And what could be the evolution of that? What could be the end game? And well, as we, the mantra, everything in moderation. Can this all go too far? Have we opened this box already? And can it be stopped? It's quite sobering, I think, Rabbi.
I don't think it can be stopped. I now genuinely believe Twitter is the thing that is destroying our civilization. I think that is the hair that calls it on the camel's back, and it's a malignant tumor on society. It really it's 3% of the world has a and 1% and a third of them has a stranglehold over our entire culture. I
was on there earlier on, and I mean, this is as a general point, and I like it for you. The fact you can see a lot of very creative things that people do with video and pictures and things. But I saw things trending about the writer J.K. Rowling, and who I've never particularly had much. I've got no feelings about J.K. Rowling one way or the other. But the way she was being talked about, like hashtag. People are saying that there was some sort of death hoax. It's just so it's just all so moronic, so pointless
in the world. Okay, so this is a tweet I gave. I sent about 4 or 5
like you were saying about distraction. People get so invested in a simple hashtag, and you could say that Doctor Who fans do that too. But these are quite destructive things.
Yeah, it's like this whole crazy. So yeah, I just had my day. I was in with the doctor, another of these J-bot Doctor Who fans. I was talking about George Soros, saying like, listen, just so you know, he's really kind of reviled in the Jewish world, and he is. You know, and most religious Jews think he's the worst thing ever, right? Because he's pretty anti-Jewish, and I think he was reportedly helped the bad guys in the World War II. To locate that apparently so, but they say it's not true. But anyway, so when I wrote this account from this was months ago, I got this thing. This guy replied it with a big moo. I'm like, what the hell? So this thing called the anti-Semitism cow. He moos at people who says anti-Semitic things, and because I criticized George Soros, he labeled me an anti-Semite, and I have all these like nutters. These left wing and others like just attack me all day. They're like they're the craziest people.
So that's all it took just to light the old touch paper. That one tweet, and they just flocked.
Yeah, because they. I mean, listen, they weren't expecting me to like send them away with a flea in their ear. They're always shocked when that happens. They're always shocked when they end up walking away.
I think it's because a great many of them are children, either literally children, as in. Below or children up there.
It's but yeah, Twitter is like the ruination of our society.
This production is pointing us towards that, isn't it? It's very anti. I mean, I've said this to you before. I believe it's anti-globalism. I believe it is. It is about. But it's encouraging people. I don't know about the original book, but certainly Grant Morrison's version is trying to empower people again.
Yeah. Well, I think both the book and this were screaming warnings to society. Of like we're going so pretty bad, which that's why I think it's got right the real heart of it in as well. So yeah, look, it's a strong recommend for me. You just watched The Singing Detective as well, so you had a bit of a good you had a good trip through the great TV.
Remember, we watched the first Singing Detective episode. I watched that with you guys.
Right.
I watched it for a channel. We were doing a discussion here about the first episode, and I watched that, and then I left it for about 6 or 7 weeks. I'd got various stuff going on. And I thought, well, I can't just leave it there. I never can. And so I watched the rest over the last few weeks. And I mean, I don't know about you. I first saw that when I've told you before. I first saw that when I was 12. It changed my perception of what TV could be. It changed my perception of what storytelling could do. And every time I watch it, just like a lot of the best entertainment, it changes shape as I get older. Every time I watch it, I see something different or something new, something additional.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
In a way that very few things do. Very few films make me feel like this. I think Stand By Me, the Carl Reiner movie, that makes me feel like this. I see different things in that all the time too. But The Singing Detective, creatively, artistically, just blows me away every single time. The sophistication of Michael Gambon's performance.
It's just brilliant. It really is. It really is just absolutely brilliant.
I used to stay up late to watch that. I mean, my mother, who could be quite strict, I'm amazed that she let me watch it, really. But now it seems quite inoffensive compared to a lot of stuff on TV.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I remember the scenes they were all people up in arms about. Again, this is something very clever where you have like lots of, if you haven't seen it, there's lots of different worlds in it, and they all kind of reflect each other. You have this like 1930s detective world, and then you have this hospital ward world, and you have this writer who's in it. He has a private life, his wife. That's kind of there's a kind of another world there. And there's a big one is his childhood. But you find the same actors recur within each different world. Like the villain in one will be the villain in the other. Like they got what's the name? Mr. Chisholm. Reminder.
It's Mark Finney or Mark Binney, depending on which universe you're in. Right. And the boundaries between these places, they they come up and come down like roller shutters. And as the story gets on, and as the psychology of the main character changes, that happens more and more and more, to the point where you start to question what you're actually watching. Even if you've seen it a dozen times before, you still question it. I think this is a work of genius. I think it is honestly one of the probably one of the best 5 TV shows ever made. I mean, I can't recommend it enough to anybody. I think it's never too late to watch The Singing Detective. I think it's better than The Prisoner. I've decided it's better than The Prisoner now.
I think it's better than The Prisoner as well. I do agree.
I think what it says is more it's more tangible. That always helps. But I think it's more life affirming and more universal as well.
Yeah, I think it's saying more than The Prisoner does. I do. I
think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors involved in The Prisoner, and I can see why that appeals to people. But people who talk about it in a very sort of arch way, and I love The Prisoner, of course I do. But this is better. It's just playing on much more levels, and it affects you there and there. Obviously, it keeps you watching, so it gets you there. But I was remembering, Rabbi, because obviously I rapped on it a couple of nights ago. And at the very last episode, the last 5 minutes is sort of as the character is making his exit. I won't say anymore in case you haven't seen it. Get it, please get it. There's a sort of what would you call it?
Montage.
A video montage of different elements from all the different strands of the story as it's all been tied together, or the defining statements have been made. And there's a scene where Philip Marlowe, as a 12-year-old, is sat in a tree, and there's that overhead shot. It must have been. We've spoken about this. It must have been a crane shot. Comes down on him, even though he's in a really tall tree, and the kid looks up into the camera, into the fourth wall, and says, "When I grow up, I want to be a detective." Even just think, oh God, I've just got chills just thinking about that.
Yeah, I got the music plays to me as you say that. When I grow up, I'm going to be a detective. Oh, I can't do his voice. His accent is so broad, and that kid's journey is horrific. By the way, the villain Mark Penny. When you find out who he actually really was in his childhood world,
incredible.
It's mind blowing. You go,
it exposes. It gets you thinking about your own life, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
you think about people around you, about yourself.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. Bill Patterson's in it as a young Bill Patterson with a stellar performance, absolutely stellar performance.
Everybody's good in it. All you Doctor Who fans out there, the woman who played Grace in the Jodie Whittaker era, Sharon D. Clarke, she plays one of the nurses on the ward, and she appears sort of more and more.
Really?
A subtle turn. The Staunton.
Joanne Wally before she became Joanne Wally Kilmer. Before she was Joanne. Well, Joanne Wally when she was like 21, and there's this incredible
she's unbearably beautiful to look at. But her performance is again on lots of different levels. Who directed it? I can't remember who directed it.
John and Mill, I think. I'm looking up now. John and Mill. He went on to a lot of good. Yeah, John and Mill. Let me have a look at what he.
Of course it was John and Mill, and I think he must have worked. I mean, I haven't gone and looked it up, but I suspect this was filmed over a year, 18 months, a long time.
I don't think so. It's the 6th episode. I think
working intensively with the actor, because there's not a bad performance in it. There's not a single wasted character where you think, why was that person even there?
Yeah, what year was this? Came out in 83. So right on in my life at this time, we had Sing Detective was going on, and in the same vortex we had Watchmen, we had Dark Knight. We had like this incredible creativity, just like upswelling. You had Sandman was like a year off, like a year or two off. It was all that. It was just a real incredible creative vortex in like the middle of the 80s. We wouldn't have really have expected it, if you.
And also premiering at the same time was the last few episodes of Trial of a Time Lord as well.
Swings around.
It's sort of like everybody had similar ideas at the same time about what they could do with established media. I mean, Dennis Potter had been doing this. He'd done this in Pennies from Heaven to a certain extent.
It's far more successful here. More successful here. Yeah, this. If you don't know, the Dennis Potterism is it people break into song and dance and do these elaborate 1930s song and dance numbers, which works well because the main character in the detective is a singer, so they use that quite a lot. But
they break the fourth wall so often. There's not actually a fourth wall there in this show, is there?
No. The best one I think is probably in the first episode where they do a rendition of Dry Bones, which is brought on by his his hallucinations are brought on by his ill health. It's like him overheating, and you have a bunch of doctors around him, and they're talking about doing antidepressants, and then one says, "Was it Ezekiel Bones, Dry Bones?" And it just breaks into Dry Bones. The curtains are drawn back, and everybody from his ward is there, but done up as dancers. And so you have this incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. Yeah, fantastic.
Real song and dance number, and I think that was another strength of John O'Mill. I can't remember what else he'd done. Had he done that ITV series about the who was in it? I think Stephanie from God. What's that? I can't. My mind's drawing a blank. Didn't he direct Bluebells? Something like that. One of those big costume dramas that was about a song and dance troupe. And I think he went that into this.
Angry Nights. This is what he did before. I kind of remember that though somehow. What that is? The Storyteller. They did that. They also had Michael Gavin and John Hurt.
It was a special time. This is a special show, and somebody was asking me, can you still get it on DVD?
Yes.
Is it on Brit? I have no idea. I haven't got BritBox.
It should be on BritBox. This would do huge on BritBox.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, it'll do very well on BritBox. So he's just think what other TV's done.
Well, what struck me, Rabbi, is how the episodes, some of them are 55 minutes, some of them are an hour and 5 minutes. Kind of like how you do now with event shows on streaming channels. And the BBC wouldn't do that now, I don't think, and neither would any mainstream broadcaster.
BBC is in they're in a civil war. The people who are fired from Questionable Sport, who I know nothing about, I'm convinced they were fired because it was the rear guard from the SJW BBC. It was a response. It was. They know their time's up, right? They know their time is up. You got till 2027 till their charter's up, and where if they don't change their actions now, they're not getting renewed. They're just not. It's not happening. But
have they made a statement now? Then Sue Barker and Ali McCoist and Phil Tufnell, have
they all said, "Oh, great! Thank you very much for the year. We had a great time." But it was clearly done as a demonstration. It was a political move. And I wouldn't be surprised if Piers Wenger isn't, promoted out of the building. I think he's going to be one of the first to go, which it just sounds so good. And
I know people who have, and nobody's got a good word to say about this man.
He's done such a terrible job, and he's such a tool. I mean, that's the thing. He's such a tool. He's such an idiot. He talks about diversity where clearly he doesn't know a thing about diversity. I think he's genuinely scared of black people. He's I really do. I think he's treats them like they're like this weird flower. Yeah, no, they're people. I think they want to be treated like people. I'm going to take a guess, right? Maybe that's all they want. And if they want a diverse BBC, which they pretend they do, but they really don't, give 25% of their budget to diverse creators, not to actors. Don't get creators to behind that. I still say Noel Clarke. Noel Clarke is my vote for showrunner and star of Doctor Who. I think it politically matches the climate. He understands. He's been a bit of a dick, but I give him a pass. Okay, fine.
He's a nice guy. Look, I don't mind Noel Clarke. I don't agree with much of what he said lately, but he speaks with conviction, and he always gives his reasons. He's got a sense of humour.
I like all for genuine, like black cinema. Listen, I always like it when I see it. I enjoy Desmond. on at me, It's like just, but like Desmond's was great because it wasn't diversity; it was serving a community, and it had the sensibilities of that community.
Desmond and the real McCoy, those shows were big in the 90s in Great Britain, and I'd forgotten how good those shows were and how popular they were, and they weren't like The Black Show.
No,
it was never like that. So
they were
why
it's just ridiculous. Anyway, the comment was made about half an hour ago. We really should attend to it. Actually, Rebecca, have you heard the rumors surrounding No Time to Die? Listen, No Time to Die. Everything I hear sounds terrible. Everything I looks fantastic. There's talk of Bond being killed off and Rami Malek characters. That one, Dr. Snow, I think is credible. That could be. Bond was originally killed off in the original version of it. That was directed by.
Oh, that was when Danny Boyle was doing it.
Danny Boyle wanted to kill him off, which I think probably would have been a good idea for the Daniel Craig Bond, because it's such a that's the only thing you could really do with the character at this point. I think it was a big mistake.
I haven't got a problem with his fate being left open. I've got a problem with killing off the character on screen. I think that would be a fucking stupid thing to do. But
because listen, if you're going to reboot it, I'm fine with reboot. They should announce the next Bond beforehand before they do that. But it was. I still say it was a mistake for Daniel Craig to come back. He walked through Spectre. He's not. I don't think he's that interested in the role. He's a bit too old for the role. I think it's time to go in a new direction.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of his. Everything he's done in the role, but sadly, I do believe he's too old to play the part now. Yeah, it was shot a year ago, but and before he made this, I mean, he'd been at the Pies big time. He just totally, but he got back into shape pretty fast. I'm sure he'd be good in this. He does seem.
Everything I see looks fantastic. I mean, the only problem I have with it is it's his relationship with whoever the doctor was in the last one that he ran off with. Yeah, who was it just wasn't good enough. Like I'm okay, like fine, but like they're bringing her back, and like I just don't think she's good enough. That relationship just didn't convince me.
I'm sorry, I've just seen a comment in the chat from Matthew Pounder back to the Sing Detective. Dennis Potter came across as a bit of a dirty old man. Brilliant writer, though. Yeah. We're too. We can't throw any stones in that department, can we, mate?
I do relate to him very much for that, yes. Speaking of Becca, at least Robbie Coltrane is sticking up for J.K. Oh, good. Well, good for you, Robbie Coltrane.
Glad somebody is.
And Robbie Coltrane, I just found out, had a very early role in Metal Mickey.
Have you seen him in Flash Gordon?
He was in. Oh yes, I he plays a very flamboyantly gay hairdresser in Metal Mickey. I was just reading a retrospective of him from SFX this week, which actually wasn't bad this month. I've
read it for years. It got really off the boil. Is it okay now?
It was too bad. It was too bland to do a review of. I couldn't hate it or love it. But like
on the front, Lee Bindings done a Star Trek piece, isn't he?
Sorry,
Lee Bindings put a Star Trek piece on the front cover of SFX this month.
I can't remember who was on the front cover.
Best of Both Worlds, the Star Trek.
Oh, that's Lee Bindings. Okay, extremely boring, but I was the only. Give it another go when you're a bit older. Okay, it's like listen, I watch very adult things with my kids, and I found out. They got to be the right age. Like if I killed Blade Runner by watching with the kids too young because it was too boring for them. But so I made them wait for stuff. Battlestar Galactica was pretty good though with the kids. Battlestar Galactica is a good teaching thing for a lot of like stuff. The new one. So yeah, I think you should give it another go when you're a bit older. If you're older, what's that again? See. Salak says, no way thinking the Detective is better than The Prisoner. I hate that as part of the place. Okay, The Prisoner is a classic. I really hate to think that. Listen, mate, vive la différence. We all have to have our opinion. We always speak our truth. Who's saying hello to me? Todd's Truth. So speaking of truth, I love you back, Todd's Truth.
Messages like that, Todd.
I can't argue. Listen, when a man is speaking correctly, you can't argue.
Todd's Truth. That sounds like a show. He must be a content maker as well. We'll have to look that up.
I will check that out.
What do you do, Todd? Let us know. I'd like to know.
Okay, we disagree on a lot of things, Time Prophet. Okay, but what can I say? And A Terrible Day. Oh man, I love Kidulthood. I really enjoyed that. Who else we got? Spike. Who's this? Spike Milligan, the Phantom Raspberry Blow is awesome. Retro Dicky, you are correct. I cannot argue with you. And of course, his best role, Robert Coltrane's best role. Robert Coltrane played the Russian assassin in James Bond. He had the greatest line in any James Bond movie ever. What was his name of this character? When James Bond puts his gun to his head, he goes, Walther PPK, 9mm. I know 3 men who use such a gun, and I have killed 2 of them. How are you, Mr. Bond?
No, I can't remember the great name either. Great.
That was a great Bond movie. I do like that Bond movie. GoldenEye. We should do that. Were you with us in the Spy Who Loved Me watch along?
I was in for the warm up, if you remember.
Right.
There's not many I don't like, to be honest. I mean, I think Octopussy is the only one that I don't enjoy, and all the.
You know what? That's kind of, if you just get into the silliness, or if you give yourself over to it, it's quite fun. The ones I can't watch are.
I never skip it when I'm watching them. I never skip it. I do them all the way through.
Yeah, I also like, what's the name? The tennis player who's in it, VJ, who was also in Star Trek 4. The captain of Star Trek 4. You got the pro comes like. So they give a Indian captain who says, our chief engineer is attempting to deploy a temporary solar sail. We have high hopes this will keep us alive. So that's called by VJ Khan, I think he is, who's a famous tennis player who played James Bond's contact in India in Octopussy.
I think I read that fact quite recently. Yeah, I'll have to go and look it up. Yeah.
I said, Time Prophet says a very, very important thing. You can disagree without hate. Absolutely.
God, yeah. I was just on a live stream earlier on where we were talking about echo chambers a little, and how, when one side to a fandom creates a huge echo chamber, then by default the people who are left behind create their own, and how echo chambers generally.
Brave New World all over. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So I should try and get one. There is somebody who started clearly one of the. He will call himself a J-bot. I would started attacking me the other day on Twitter, and eventually I talked him into coming on the channel. So maybe he's going to come on Thursday. That would be fun.
A full card carrying J-bot.
I think so. Was it see you back in the Invisible Atom Marty is Bond, where Bond lost me at that point. Yes, unfortunately that was a low point. That one I love I thought Die Another Day was a low point. I think
it's not it wasn't up to the usual stuff. But again, Halle Berry, for Christ's sake.
I don't know why Halle Berry just does not do it for me. Okay, let's just do a James Bond movie list. Bond movies, and we'll go through them. And I think with that, we will wrap up. But let's. Okay, this has them in order. Let me just do go over here. James Bond movies. So let's start at the most recent. We'll see what ones are done. Spectre's a dud. Quantum of Solace is a dud. Die Another Day. I could watch this one before I could watch Quantum of Solace or Spectre. Spectre is just torture to try. It's so slow. Like the trailer of it.
All his films have got a pacing problem. All of them, I'm sure.
World Is Not Enough. I liked a lot. Again,
you love that movie. Not a problem there. Robert Coltrane.
Again, Robert Coltrane came back in that one. I like Tomorrow Under the Dice. Is a bit silly. I think Jonathan Pryce is a weaker villain, but with that scene where Terry Hatcher's dress from behind and it falls off makes me forgive everything. Yeah, absolutely everything. That makes it everything okay. And of course, you have the wonderful pre-title sequence in GoldenEye, which was when Doctor Who really in GoldenEye really came back. When James Bond really came back. License to Kill. What's your thoughts?
Despite what I've just said about Octopussy, I like it as a film. I don't think it feels like James Bond, though.
No, doesn't. For me, yeah, he's a bit too.
All of its virtues, but it doesn't feel like a Bond film, and therefore it counts as a partial failure for me. And I'm surprised.
And also, the bongo in that is just awful.
Carrie Lowell, something like that.
You never see her again. Living Daylights was like a Roger Moore Bond movie with Timothy Dalton trying to play it very serious and very very realistic.
Yeah, I really love The Living Daylights, but that's also too long by about 15 minutes as well.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, I liked Timothy Dalton's performance. I liked his The Living Daylights had him, had the car. That was all fun. Yeah. Never Say Never Again. I've really got to watch that. I really don't remember it very well.
I haven't seen it for years either. I've never particularly disliked it, but it's not a.
I mean, it's got a good pedigree. It's by
Irving Kershner directed that, didn't he?
Who directed it again? Let me see.
Irving Kershner, Empire Strikes Back, and
right, yeah, exactly. Fine. So we go back. Let's just jumped a bit. There you go. So Never Say Never Again. Oh, we've missed A View to a Kill. I kind of like A View to a Kill.
Yeah, embarrassing. Love it. Ridiculous, but it's not. It's not as ridiculous as
ever.
It still feels like a Bond movie. It's still got edge of your seat moments. So I love that one. I think they get progressively better, pretty much from day one.
I challenge anybody to watch the opening titles on that. It's just the worst opening titles I've seen in any movie ever. Again, I think the porn version probably had better production value. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So Octopussy, Octopus is so silly with the little diminutive assassin with the chains with the buzzsaw that was a yo-yo. Yeah, but amongst other things, which is the one with the skater in it, the 16-year-old skater who's throwing themselves at a 56-year-old Roger Moore.
For Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes Only. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But For Your Eyes Only, I liked a lot. Okay, For Your Eyes Only,
I like the film too. Yeah, I think. I mean, he does turn her down in that, which is a good thing,
Yes, absolutely.
But it's still a bit awkward to watch.
I mean, there was a real attempt to bring things back down to grittiness. I think with For Your Eyes Only. The
one where it starts with where Bond kicks the car off the cliff, isn't it? Like really snarls.
Yeah. And it's the one where it starts off with the submarine sinking, and then you do get these graphic scenes where they go looking for this computer in there, the ATAC computer, of all these dead, drowned people. It's very disturbing. It's a really kind of heavy one. So I think. So how did they go so off with Octopussy? That's so weird.
I think by that point, it's the source material. I think they were.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Of material to make into credible screenplays, and they kept. Did John Glenn direct Octopussy? I think John Glenn had been there a little bit too long.
Yeah,
complacency and the sort of the rates that they were making them. Really, I think they'd used up all the best stories by that point, and Octopussy was a reach too far.
Right,
because A View to a Kill was 2 or 3 short stories meshed together, wasn't it? Octopussy was an actual book.
Yeah, and by the time they came back to GoldenEye, they weren't even trying to redo books. They were
they pretty much did.
And I think it was better for it, quite frankly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the time was right, and I think if they.
I was just thinking of villains. I was looking at the World Is Not Enough. World Is Not Enough had an excellent villain. World Is Not Enough and GoldenEye had 2 of the best villains I can remember.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good. They were really good. I'm just thinking who. Yeah, because Octopussy wasn't a great villain. Yeah, Lewis Jordan. It wasn't a great. Yeah, I like the way they brought the computer thing in to get the ident of the guy in For Your Eyes Only. There was definitely a drive to try and bring it down to reality after Moonraker. Because Moonraker was a little bit ridiculous, but we kind of loved it for it, right?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried that the Fast and Furious movies are going to go down that road soon.
Aren't they? Aren't they in space yet? I can't remember. They're going down that road.
I'm very fond of Moonraker, but I think that they should have resisted and waited out the Star Wars obsession.
Yeah, no, they couldn't.
They should have had the courage to recast Bond after the spoiler of me, probably.
Spoiler of me was his pinnacle. It was an absolute pinnacle.
Well, I think Roger Moore had got one more great Bond movie in him, and by all rights, they should have made For Eyes Only next while he was still at his peak.
But they did. They pushed it off for Moonraker. Still, I do like the British astronauts with those laser fights at the end. The like very, very clearly not Star Wars. Very slow, like pew pew, like laser beams.
Wasn't Derek Meddings involved in all of that? It's all very Jerry Anderson. And
it did, and it does. Yeah, it just always will feel that way. Spy Love Me, glorious, absolutely glorious. Who was the villain in Spy Love Me?
Drax? No, not Drax.
The Drax is the next one. It was Draco. Great villain. Great villain in both those ones. They're very Roger Morris villains. But not
to me, Spy Love Me isn't just the best Bond film before Casino Royale. It's one of the best movies of the 1970s, certainly for entertainment value.
Yeah. Listen, you get that parachute opening up before the opening titles. You've earned your money right there, right? Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Doesn't matter. He's a secret agent. Should I pack my secret parachute? No, I think I'll go with my Union Jack. I think this British, and it's got the other great line in it where the woman's in the chalet, with her clutching her fur blanket, said, "But James, I need you," and he goes, so does England. So and he
balanced precisely and correctly. Any more than that, the thing would have just completely upended and descended into spoof. It was a work of genius.
Which is the spoof is where Roger Moore really ended up. It was especially when he came in. He came in the snuck in the electronic crocodile. It was one of the later ones he did. That might be Octopussy.
He made the mistake of playing himself in the Cannonball Run movie in between these, and I think that
was fun. Okay,
I love those films, but he shouldn't have played Bond. He shouldn't have played up Bond in those.
Listen, he's got to make a living. So then we go back to the first two Roger Moores, which were a much more like not spoofy at all. Yeah, Man with a Golden Gun, one of the best villains. He's a villain up there with Trevelyan from GoldenEye. And also, he's out there, the Man with the Golden Gun, a real credible threat to Bond. You hadn't seen that before. Live and Let Die, a blaxploitation Bond. It was just gloriously embracing it.
We did a live stream about that, myself and Ian Diaz and Keith Isles was on that show. It's a wonderful film. Jane Seymour was dissing it last week, saying that she shouldn't have done it, that it's problematic.
Oh, shut up, you silly cow.
That's what I said. This time
I ruled out the C word there because I think it's deserving, but I don't be that demonetized. Really? You're not but really, okay, she's a silly, starts with C and rhymes with bunt, okay? That's who she's, a silly, she's a bunt. Shut up. Really? Who's the other one? What's that movie? Knocked Up. She came and she dissed it after she did it.
Catherine Heigl.
Yeah. She said, Seth Rogen was like, well, you read the script. Seth Rogen, you read the script. I don't know what you thought we were making, but we did that, and that's kind of what we saw on the screen. You're like, what did you expect? You took the money. I can't argue with this.
I get the impression that girl's not playing with a full deck anyway. I mean, I've seen her interviewed a few times, and I like her on screen, but like a lot of actors, thick as pig. Well, not yeah.
Yes, indeed. So Live and Let Die. Again, my favorite line: Live and Let Die, when he's being followed by one of Katanga's men. He's in Harlem. He's easy to spot. They describe him as a cue ball on a black billion. Look, he's cue ball on a black billion tail, man. It's like I can't. You watch it, you go, really? But I hope the SJWs never find this, right? I hope the SJWs never find this. So, Diamonds Are Forever. Sean Connery is in a competition with Daniel Craig, Inspector, for the most unwilling performance possible. Like he's basically pushed onto camera with a broom throughout all of it.
Diamonds Are Forever just doesn't work. It's got
it
doesn't work. Everything else about it is fine. He's Sean Connery, so obviously doesn't want to be there. And if you've got an actor who, I mean, I know what you mean about Daniel Craig in Spectre, now you've mentioned it, but I do get the impression he wanted to be there. I don't know what was going on with him, but Sean Connery was so obviously.
He was wearing his own clothes. It was. Imagine the Secret Service. I think was sabotaged with the death scene at the end, and didn't like. The death scene was supposed to go on Diamonds of Forever, but I think it was put on the end to sabotage. What's his name? Lazenby, because he was such a dick on set constantly to everyone. So I think that was a political move to get rid of him. Not a bad Bond though. Just
love the film. Absolutely adore On Her Majesty's. Peter Hunt. I mean, I know he didn't direct much, but wow. Great
music. It's got that theme. It's got a great theme.
Yeah.
Diana Rigg being the only woman who could possibly
incredible in that. It really that film is a great and brave reinvention of James Bond. Not necessarily talking about the actual character, but of James Bond. It was a successful series of films, and they didn't. I mean, I know they left a little bit of time in between. You Only Live Twice and that one, but not a huge amount of time, and it's unflinching. And they just go for it, and that's why I like the film so much. And
you're right.
To it. I just love it, and that's why I think Diamonds Are Forever is a massive backward step.
Well, they just didn't know what to do. They should have gone with Roger Moore earlier. I think
they knew that if they didn't make a film like there and then, within 18 months, they were leaving money on the table. And if I was them, I'd probably done the same thing.
They paid a fortune for it. So then we got you Only Live Twice, which had was it Little what's the name of that the autogyro, Little Bess or something he flew.
Little
Nell.
He's now, yeah. Magnificent.
So like by this time, by basically after Goldfinger, they got themselves into a template. They knew that what they were doing. I felt like Thunderball and You Only Live Twice is pretty similar to Tomorrow Never Dies and The World Is Not Enough. Like rinse and repeat. That's basically where they got to. They're like,
I tell you, there's only actually 3 Bond stories. I keep telling people. So, because people say, why'd you like those movies? It's the same story over and over again. I say, how dare you? There are 3 James Bond stories.
Yeah, exactly. What are the 3 stories?
Well, the first one is Femme Fatale.
Yes.
And what would you call it? Like fugitive stroke defective. Second one is Mad Professor.
Yes, okay, Mad Professor, we do those.
And the third one, I did have these written down at one point. I used to talk about it that often. The third one is Bond Goes Rogue.
Bond Goes Rogue. We like the Bond Goes Rogue ones. Bond. By the way, I'll finish this. I'll tell you my 2 Bond movies that I have in my head. If ever I write a James Bond movie. So Goldfinger basically defined the series. For Russia with Love is a great Bond movie. Russia with Love.
That's my favorite of the Connery film.
What?
That's my favorite of the Connery movies. Russia with Love.
So I love the gypsy section where there's going to be a girl fight. These 2 most beautiful women that you've ever seen are going to fight each other over the love of one man. And James Bond says, "I don't stop the girl fight. It's not very nice." So the gypsy chieftain gives it to 2 girls. So you decide what to do with them. So it's heavily implied that he sleeps with both of them and then decides which one should marry. It's a bit strange, but I kind of like that movie. Doctor No, the movie that started it all. So that we a quick trip for Bond movies. Okay, so here's the silly Bond movie I would do. Okay, is that you don't know it's when you're recasting a Bond and you don't know who's going to be one. You have 2 Bondable actors, right? And this is a silly one, right? So let's say you have Timothy Cumberbatch and who's the other one I like? Loki. Who plays Loki?
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, so they both wake up both of them have had their memories wiped. They don't know who they are. One's a villain, one's Bond, and they have to work together to find out who they are. Right, and so that's basically a movie, and then you find out, and then so you basically get two Bonds in that movie, and I guess you could find out, and that you have the last scene will be the gun barrel sequence.
That sounds like the plot of a Big Finish Doctor Who with the Doctor and the Master.
Oh yeah. I get. Did they want it like that? It sounds like there could be one there too. So my real Bond movie would be this. So they kind of did in Skyfall. So James Bond is somebody who's transferred his parental love to MI5. That's why I think the female M was so important to him, right? That's why I think Skyfall was such an incredible movie, because it's basically that he views M as his mother to a great extent, right? And so it was about this maternal loss. So I think the only thing that could tempt him away from MI5 would be family. So if he found the villain turned out was his long lost half brother, and he invited James Bond to join his criminal syndicate, which he was tasked to infiltrate. So for a good part of the movie, you wouldn't know had he gone rogue or had he not. And I don't think Bond would know either. I think that would be a kind of interesting movie.
I think that's where Spectre didn't take things for. I think if they were going to commit to something,
and he got caught up in a silly love story, and they really wasted what's his name, Moriarty, who should have been much better. You know, they really wasted him. It was a real shame.
He's only in it for about 10 minutes, isn't he? Something like that.
Yeah, but he was excellent. Fine. So for me, it's 10:05. I'm going to go have a spot of dinner. I got to get up at 6 a.m. because I'm again New Year's. So you got these early prayers, which oh my God, it made me so crazy because the synagogues are all being like limited and closed. You need a prayer group of 10 people to be able to have this thing. And this is the first year I've gone to like 3 different ones and I haven't been able to find them. You know, so it's but still I'm getting up at crack of dawn. And then on Thursday it's a friend of mine's anniversary of his mother or father dying. It's called a Yortzeit. So what you do is you lead the prayer service then. So I got to be up at 6:30 for his. I got to be up like before 6, so I get to his prayer service at 6:30. And then on Friday, the day before the Jewish New Year, you have these extra prayers you do called Slicha. Are like normally they're 15 minutes. They're about an hour long. So I got going to another group that's starting at 6:30 on Friday morning.
Everybody pray for the rabbi. Pray for the rabbi.
And, it's just
another week, mate.
So there you go. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And then it gets worse the week after. Between
Minority Report. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so the Minority Report, that is certainly my minion. There you go. Strontium explanate. That is correct. Fine. Okay. I'm going to click the end broadcast button. It's going to ask me, am I sure? Yes. Be sure in your judgment. That is
I've had a blast. We've really been around the universe this time. But
haven't we? Click sub to Dan's channel if you haven't already subbed. Dan, do you want to tell us what's coming up or what you have
subscribe to the Facebook? Yes, subscribe or you will miss Warp Drive every Wednesday. That's myself and my friend here and Ian Diaz plus one other sort of rotating guest we have on talking about Star Trek every week. It's been Lower Decks up to now, but we're sort of mixing that up a little bit, talking about Star Trek. Every show rocks in, usually about an hour and a quarter, so you can watch it over your lunch or whatever else. And it's raw, uncut, and not safe for work. Uncut Star Trek talk. There's also Type Over 40, my Doctor Who stuff, and my Doctor Who podcast. And yes, coming soon to the Spacebook, Blake 7.
Whoa!
Teleport, a Blake 7 podcast, my brand new show. That launches probably in the next 10 days. Several shows already recorded, lots of Blake 7 talk, conversations, lots of reminiscing, obviously, about this very old British series. You know, if you haven't seen it for a few years, but you remember it fondly, you're going to want to see and hear these. But if you're steeped in Blake 7, you know it inside out. I've had some conversations with some great guests that you won't have heard before, I can guarantee. So, yes, subscribe to the channel or you'll miss Teleport, a Blake 7 podcast coming to the Spacebook very soon. Thank you. Rabbi.
That is exciting. We will be down and safe. Here we go. So head over to Dan's channel. Link below. Go standard by 3. Standard by 4.
Absolutely. More if you can. Yeah.
I think standard by 4 is the best they managed in Blake 7.
I think so.
I don't know. Bolts fired and running. I used to like that as well. Fine. Okay. It's asking me, am I sure? Now I'm sure. I'm going to click the end broadcast. Thank you all for coming. I hope you have a pleasant day, pleasant afternoon,